Hello and welcome. My name is Rohit, and in this video I'm going to show you what are the post-registration process and activities for the BCMG new Sanad enrollment. This is obviously part 2 for the previous video in which I showed you how to enroll for the Sanad and how to register for the same. I know many of you have been waiting for this part 2 of the video, and this video covers the entire timeline from 15th of August 2024, where I had first registered my application, to 3rd October 2024, yesterday, when I finally received the provisional certificate of enrollment and the Sanad ID card, both in the soft copy from BCMG itself. But before I start with the video, I would definitely like to first thank all of you for the wonderful love and affection that you have all shown to my viewers, to my subscribers, to everyone. I started out this video at the beginning of this year as a New Year's resolution to post more videos on YouTube. And though I had posted a couple of other technology or technical related videos, I had started with the law related video with the new Sanad enrollment, for which I have received over 2.6 thousand views since it was published, more than 200 watch hours, and I had started with just 12 subscribers, mostly who are my own family members or my friends. But with this video I saw a jump of 40 plus subscribers, so thank you so much. I really appreciate all the love and affection that has been shown to me. It's quite humbling and very delightful. Of course, with that being said, along with the likes, I also saw that there were a couple of dislikes too. While I do accept a healthy dose of criticism, I see over here that I did get 6 dislikes. I would have expected to at least have some comments down below telling me where I had made a mistake or what or how can my videos be made better, what improvements can be made. I didn't see that, so I'm not sure why these dislikes are there. Of course, this could also be taken as a compliment, showing that probably I've gained a celebrity status where I probably now have haters. But jokes apart, I really do have immense gratitude to the love and affection that all of you have shown me. Since we are on the topic of comments, let me quickly recap on the previous video for those of you who are coming in very new to this video. So in the previous video, I had covered a lot of tips and tricks, what to do well in advance while filling the application form, how to fill that, how to make the payments. Then I also went into details to discuss what kind of documents are required. And then I showed you the actual demo using my own details, how I had filled my application form. And hopefully that was quite interesting for you. Now, with that, I anticipated that there would be a couple of frequently asked questions, so I had already pinned a comment with most of the frequently asked questions that would be asked by viewers. So I did receive a lot many other queries, some very interesting ones that I would like to go through very quickly before we start. So one of the most important was someone having a mistake in their date of birth. So please understand, date of birth being incorrectly entered or date of birth not correctly mentioned in your documents is a mistake on the candidate side. So even before enrollment, you have to ensure that the documents are having corrected and matching date of birth. There has been few updates on the Sanad portal itself, where at the beginning of the process itself, now it tells you based on the age verification when you entered the date of birth, it will tell you what date of birth will appear on the Sanad itself, so that you directly get at least an early warning indicator that probably if the document is not having the correct date of birth, what needs to be done before filing the actual application. The other one that did catch my attention was related to out of state candidates. So there was one of the viewers who asked that how they need to make the extra payment. Now, on the BCMG portal itself, they have mentioned that they're going to take 1,000 rupees, but it was not charged during the application part. So before making any statements, I just want to make this clear disclaimer. Obviously, I'm not an official spokesperson of BCMG. I am no way related to BCMG, except that I also am a fellow advocate just like you. I also had to enroll to BCMG, but that's it. That's where the limit of my association with BCMG ends. So I cannot answer on their behalf, but what I can guess, maybe make an educated guess, is they will charge that 1,000 rupees extra, but they will charge it later, right? So they are allowing some leniency to allow for the AIB registration for the time being, so that the candidates are not frustrated with how to make these payments and other twisted steps. So they will charge it later once you clear the AIB, or later somewhere down in the future. Some of the viewers were from a different state altogether and asked that if their graduation itself, having done on a distance mode, was not recognized by their own state, will BCMG consider that graduation as part of the graduation being completed or not? So again, without being a spokesperson for BCMG, I did reply that BCMG just will look whether you have completed a degree or not. The validity will be checked later, for which BCMG is already told it will be 1,000 rupees. Now, if the state itself denies that degree to be validated, or the degree or the university is no longer valid itself, then it is not at BCMG's discretion to make assertions whether a degree is valid or not, right? So that is for later. So I just advise the viewer that's just a matter of 1,000 rupees now. It's no longer 20,000, 30,000 as the Sanad enrollment fees. It's hardly 750 rupees. It shouldn't be too much to take a chance and see how it works if it's not allowed in their home state. Then there was another one related to name change. So there were a couple of discrepancies with certain names, second name, not middle name. So some of the candidates may have two first names. So those were not allowed by the BCMG portal because of the space as a special character and such. So there are certain technical issues as well, but one of the other issues that was very prominent was related to the name change for married women. So one of the viewers had asked how to upload the documents such as marriage certificate for the married woman whose name has changed. That was something that I had not specifically covered in detail in the previous video. So I did give a detailed answer to that viewer how to do that. Plus, with that, I also had posted a community post with the screenshots. So the link to the community post is given over here in the comment itself. You can just click on it and you can view that post directly over there. Let me show that to you very quickly. And if you see here, I have added for that specific name change because it was not covered in the video. So how that is done, so in the application form, you need to uncheck this box, after which a separate drop down will come down. You can select the reason for the name change, due to marriage, due to divorce, if that's the case, or any other reasons. And then once all the details are filled in at the document upload tab, you have the field enabled where it asks you to upload the name change certificate as well, which in case of married women will be the marriage certificate itself. So I request all the viewers to go through the comments. Many of the questions are already answered in the comments based on the queries raised by other viewers and subscribers itself. So before posting a new question, please go through all the comments that I have already answered. Most of the time it is possible that I have already answered the question that you have. So as you may know, I had submitted my application on 15th of August with BCMG. I did receive BCMG's email with the assigned BCMG admin who would review my documents. So 15th of August, the moment it was submitted, I had received one email that says that your enrollment application has been submitted. The second one gave the details of the admin, name of the admin and their contact details. This all happened on the 15th of August. August. From that time, for me, unfortunately, 15th August itself was a holiday. 16th was a working day. 17th and 18th were weekly offs. 19th, that was on Monday, was also a holiday due to Raksha Bandhan. 20th was where I had actually got a call from the BCMG admin. The admin had instructed me to fill the last semester's mark sheet, the online mark sheet, but in PDF format. I had uploaded that in JPEG. She just asked me to upload it once again in the PDF format. I'll just again show you the email where she asked that, okay, your application has been rejected. So please don't get alarmed that, oh, my application is rejected. No. They will tell you the reason why it is temporarily or provisionally rejected, and they'll give you the reason, and they'll give you a link over here. If you see at the bottom of my screen, the link directly gives you an option to go to that application portal itself and update the user details. So that's how I went in with the OTP login, and I had uploaded the required document. Once that is done, then again it goes back into the process and things will take their own time, which did happen. Till 23rd, there was no other updates. And then on 24th and 25th, again, it was Saturday and Sunday, weekly offs. Again, on Monday, it was a Janmashtami. So again, there was some delay. Lucky me. Then on 27th, I think it was a working day, but I had grown very impatient by that time. So I had called on the 28th directly to my assigned admin to ask for an update. And again, she had informed that, well, your application is already in the process, but it is been earmarked, separated out for a committee meeting. A committee meeting means that you will be called to BCMG for a detailed discussion, or at least that was my initial idea. I also did not know very well what to expect. Then 2 days go by, and then on the 31st of August, I did receive the agenda meeting notice. And for some of you, probably you already have seen this kind of email where it says that yes, your application has been added to the agenda process, and they submit a PDF with your details that has been added in the application form. Now, don't be alarmed. Within that PDF itself, you may see some incorrect documentation. Those are technical glitches caused by the system. Don't worry, it will be corrected offline later. What you need to ensure is that you need to take a printout of this particular PDF file to the agenda meeting along with other documents. So the documents would be obviously all the attested documents that I had shown you in the previous video, along with the original command affidavit. It has to be the original copy of that, which has to be submitted. And then for people who may have police cases, then the police case details or any other documents, and also originals of all the attested documents. I'll give you some tips and tricks a little later, or what to carry, what not to carry, but ensure that you have this PDF file printed out as well, preferably on a ledger paper. If not, that's fine too. So I received the notice, but in that notice, there is no mention of the date. So I still again wait for the date. Several days go by. I was also busy with a lot of other engagements, training assignments, work assignments as well. So I finally was able to edit and upload the video on 2nd around midnight. From 3rd onwards, again, it was a waiting game. And from 7th, as you know, one of the biggest festivals in Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, is the Ganesh Chaturthi. That's the holiday start time from 7th of September. And usually if it's a 10-day holiday, it ends around 17th of September. Again, a waiting game till 20th. And finally, when I did receive the agenda meeting schedule date, this is the email that I had got. So clearly in the title itself, they tell that it is fixed on 24th. So I assumed that I would be the only one to be called on 24th at 11 a.m. Having understood that, now I was happy. I had to ensure all the documents were in place. I had already put them in one file folder, ensured I had all the provisions with me ready for the 24th. So again, 21st and 22nd were holiday. Finally, Monday came and went, and on Tuesday, 24th of September, I did attend the agenda meeting. For some of you who have subscribed to my channel, you must have already got the notification of the post that I had made of the photograph outside the Bombay High Court. And again, it was a waiting game. And then Saturday and Sunday, obviously. 30th September and 1st, nothing eventful happened. And then on 2nd, obviously it was again a holiday for Gandhi Jayanti. 3rd, that is yesterday, I did get 2 emails. One was directly a system generated approval email from the super admin. The second one was an email with 2 PDF attachments. So the first email showed that super admin approved. Now that's great. Congratulations. And when you keep reading so and so, you see that it still asks to print out the application form and attach and send it by post within 15 days. Please don't be alarmed. This is a system generated generic default notice meant for fresh college graduates who do not get flagged for the agenda meeting. So for them, obviously this happens within a couple of days of the application being successfully submitted. So that's when they have to send it by post within 15 days. For other candidates such as myself, we have to attend, and then it says, but please note that your documents are already submitted well before in advance. So don't worry. Don't panic. It also says click here and you will get the enrollment, same exact PDF file. So one of my friend had called in and they were worried. They asked me, what do? We received this email. Do we need to send it back? And I had advised my friend that not to worry, to wait. Looks like a system generated email. Unfortunately, I was a bit tied up, so I didn't check my email until it was quite late yesterday night. And to my surprise, when I did check, I saw that there was a second email from BCMG which says eSanad generated successfully. And this gave the links to download the certificate as well as the ID card for the eSanad. So this successfully concludes the Sanad enrollment. Of course, there are a couple of steps involved even after this, mainly going back to BCMG after clearing the AIB to collect your actual permanent enrollment certificate and your Sanad permanent PVC plastic ID card. And of course, you have to submit the Mediclaim forms, the Welfare Association forms, the Bar Association forms, and many other things. So there are still a lot of other activities still pending, which if required, I may post another video later. If that is something that you need, do let me know in the comments. I will post a video once I have completed all those activities as well, but it will not be very soon. Obviously, after 6 months from completing the AIBE. 4th, that is today morning, I did make it a point to ensure that I record, quickly edit, and upload the video for all of my viewers and my subscribers and well-wishers and my friends and fellow advocates' benefits. Coming to the timeline, what actually happened on the 24th of September 2024 for the agenda meeting with the enrollment committee at Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. So candidates were physically summoned in person. Since I stay quite away from Bombay High Court, I wanted to catch the train first, but I ran late. So I started at 8:45. I caught an Ola instead of the local train. Fortunately, it was not that big of a deal. We took Atal Setu Bridge and we just whizzed away. I actually reached before the train. It was almost less than an hour that I reached at Bombay High Court exactly at 9:57. Now, my timing was at 11 a.m. but I always make sure that I reach at least an hour before, at least. What I did see when I reached that it was not just for me. There were several candidates. In fact, what we were told that there were around 300 to 400 candidates who were summoned in person. Obviously, not all 300, 400 had attended. Most of them were absent, but it did create a little bit of chaos over there because building architecture is old, passageways are narrow, there's very little gangway, bit cramped spaces over there. But what I did observe was that probably the clerk was calling out everyone's name to do an attendance check, telling them what were their serial number. Mine was 81, but what I observed was that out of the 80 previous candidates, half of them had only turned up. So for me, it was smooth sailing. Chairs were laid out later so that everyone could sit rather than stand in that crowded passageway. Then I was instructed to stick photographs on the first page, the front page of the agenda printout. So the agenda printout does have your photograph on that PDF itself, but you need to stick a physical photograph on top of the same thing. Plus, on the last page of the PDF, which is for the welfare, you also need to stick 3 photographs. Remember to take photographs. I will let you know what are the things you need to take with you when you're going for such agenda meetings. Now by 11:03, I was summoned into the office, but to my surprise, I found out that the person who was doing the scrutiny, the BCMG president himself, had just stepped out. So I was kept waiting till he came back. By the time he came back, it was roughly around 25 minutes that I was waiting over there. And once he came in, it was a very cursory discussion regarding my working status. What did I mean by clock hour basis consultancy? My affidavit was a bit customized. I mentioned that I'm not working, but at the same time I'm doing consultancy, but on a clock hour basis. So the clock hour basis was something that was flagged for scrutiny. The president himself asked whether I had mentioned this in the affidavit or not, whether I had submitted the affidavit or not. I did submit all of my documents, including the attested copies, the original affidavit, and the good moral character certificate were collected by the clerk who was present over there. And I was told by the Honorable President that my application was approved and I would receive the sanad in 3 to 4 days. Well, that really didn't happen, as you saw in the timeline, unfortunately, because of holidays and festivities in between. And by 11:31, I was already done with my agenda meeting. So what I had assumed and expected was completely different than what actually happened. I hardly spent around 4 or 5 minutes in that room and completed my document submission, stepped out, and then clicked this picture on left that you see right outside the Bombay High Court. By 11:45, I just walked across the street, went to my favorite bookstore nearby and bought books related to law, and then I joined my colleague for lunch. And then we moved back home. Now, this friend of mine did inform that he had come to the BCMG office before being summoned for the agenda meeting, and he had submitted the documents before the meeting itself. Now, while this is allowed and possible, but it increases the risk or the chance of the documents being misplaced during the process of approval. So you could take a chance and try to submit it in person before your date for the agenda meeting, or you can submit all the documents on the agenda meeting itself and be safe. Do take a note of that. Here are a few tips for the BCMG Sanad enrollment meeting. What to do, what not to do. First, ensure that you plan your day. For some of you who are traveling from far off places outside Mumbai, it probably is going to take the entire day for you to travel. So make sure you're planning the day accordingly. You're making your travel arrangements accordingly. You are ensuring to plan for your food and refreshments as well in advance. Now, many of you will think it's a very good idea to carry water inside, but don't be surprised if your water bottle is confiscated at the security gate itself at the Bombay High Court, because security has been tightened, so you cannot carry a water bottle, at least not a filled water bottle. So what you can do instead is carry an empty water bottle, and then there are multiple outlets within the Bombay High Court to fill your water bottle inside. There are proper filters for cool drinking water itself. So you can do that, but please don't take a filled water bottle inside the court. It will be confiscated unnecessarily. You will be wasting your money. Second is, as I have already mentioned earlier, try to arrive at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours earlier to the venue than what is mentioned in your appointment. This ensures that you have plenty of time to address if there is any contingent issues or emergencies. Perhaps you have forgotten to bring printouts. Perhaps you have forgotten to get some attestation done. Perhaps you need to take a photograph that you've forgotten. Perhaps you need to take photocopies of certain documents. So try to arrive 1 to 1.5 hours earlier than your appointment time. Avoid bringing your own vehicle, especially four-wheeler car. You know, Mumbai is a very, very crowded place, and especially in and around Bombay High Court, there is lot of congestion. Plus the roads are narrow, plus there is metro work going on. So any which way it will be a disaster. And on top of that, you will find difficulties to get parking. So you might waste time unnecessarily to find parking space around, and you may come late for your appointment. Try to avoid that. So try using public transport or at least a radio cab to come well in advance. Ensure you are properly dressed, properly groomed. First impression is the last impression, as the saying goes. So you are presentable, preferably in the advocate dress code. Now you don't need to wear the neckband, but at least have a white shirt for ladies in the white attire, black coat. If it is too hot, you may remove the black coat. I didn't wear the black coat because it was very, very humid that day. Try to comply as much as possible to the advocate dress code. Now for the documents, ensure you are carrying all original documents as well, along with the obvious attested documents too. And sometimes it could be possible, as I was mentioning, some of the candidates had submitted earlier and their documents were misplaced, so they were asked to submit extra photocopies of those attested documents. So don't let that happen. If that is the case, ensure that you are carrying extra photocopies as well. It is quite possible that it gets misplaced in such a big building. And ensure you have extra photographs as well. There were several candidates who did not carry photographs, who had a lot of issues later. Ensure you are having 5, 6, 10 photographs, the one that you have clicked for your submission of the application. Have multiple copies of that photograph with you. Ideally, in my situation, as I mentioned earlier, I was asked to stick 4 of them. You may not know, they may ask more. Whatever the scenario is, always be prepared for the worst scenario. Having said that, now since you have to stick the photographs, I saw many of the candidates scurrying around for as simple thing as glue, as simple thing as pen, as simple thing as stapler. While there is a stapler available at that counter where your agenda meeting is supposed to happen, try not to rely only on that, because there are multiple candidates coming at the same time. It is possible that again your documents are misplaced. So ensure you are carrying all possible stationeries with you, including glue, pen, at least black and blue, definitely, stapler. But try to avoid bringing sharp objects again for security reasons, obviously, such as cutters or scissors. And last tip, if possible, try to pair along with a fellow candidate who has the agenda meeting on the same date. A known person that you know, maybe your college mate who also has the similar issue, who also has the same date for the agenda meeting. What you can do is you can travel together, you can be there, you can do buddy system. If let's say you have to go for washroom break, the other person can at least heed on the notification, and when they go on break, you can take over. Something of that sort, because many of the announcements are not pasted on the notice board. It is verbally, orally just stated over there. So heeding to important announcement becomes a very important thing. Plus, because of congestion, there is a lot of commotion, there will be a lot of background noise, talking going on amongst each other. So it's very important to have a known person, not just any known person. Don't bring your relative or friend over there, because they will either not be allowed inside, or they will not have space to sit over there, or they will not even be entertained at that floor. So don't bring your family member or relative or friend or spouse or anyone. Try to bring a colleague who also has that same date for agenda meeting. So these are the tips and tricks what to do on the agenda meeting on that day. I have just mentioned a couple of them based on what I had observed on that day. There could be any other number of things also that you can apply using your wisdom and your judgment. So here is the final result that we all have been waiting for, the Sanad Enrollment Certificate. This is how it looks like. Now pay attention to the word provisional over here, which means that this is not the final certificate. Although I must say that the design is beautiful. I've seen the other Sanad Enrollment certificates as well from the previous advocates. This one is really, really beautiful. Of course, I have blurred out the serial number and the enrollment number itself, but suffice to say that the matter would be the same for the final permanent enrollment certificate as well. The provisional part is not for the enrollment number. Enrollment number will remain same. There will be no change to the enrollment number. Only the word provisional will be removed from that. So this more or less would be same, if not same, similar to your final enrollment certificate. So this is one of the PDF that came with the email. The second attachment that came in the email is the PDF file for the ID card. Now, even in the ID card, it says e-ID card and the word provisional. So this may also change, and of course, this may not be the same format as well. I've seen a couple of PVC plastic Sanat ID cards that has a completely different color scheme and formatting. So I'm not sure whether this will be the final form or not, but the data over here would be the same. So your roll number, obviously I have blurred it out over here. The roll number, the date of birth is mentioned over here, the enrollment number, which is very important. Now, the thing that you need to keep in mind is the enrollment date is the same as the agenda date, because I guess what the Honorable BCMG President told me was that it is approved, meaning that on the same day it is approved, hence it is enrolled. The waiting time after 24th was not counted. So good. And your address is given, your gender is mentioned. So this is how the ID card looks like. And of course, this means that now I can at least add the word advocate. I cannot practice yet until I get my certificate of practice after I finish my AIB exam and successfully pass it. But at least I can add the word advocate after this. Now, since we are talking about AIB, don't worry. I am also working on that video as well. Registration for the patent agent exam and for the trademark agent exam and many more. Multiple videos are just waiting to be edited by me. The editing part is what bogs me down. So with that being said, if you have any additional queries or doubts or any issues or any very specific quirks in your specific use case, please do mention that in the comment section down below. As I have done with the previous video, I have replied to each and every comment in detail, and I will also do the same for this video as well. And of course, the AIB registration video will be posted very, very soon, most likely within the next few days, hopefully. With that being said, thank you so much for watching the video so far. If you found this video to be helpful, please click the like button. You may also click dislike, but if you do, please do let me know in the comments why did you dislike, so that it gives me an opportunity to improve myself and the videos that I present to you. If you feel that anyone that you know can use this video and it is helpful for them, please do share. Add your comments down below just to say hi, even that's fine. Please do subscribe to my channel. I wish this channel gets more subscribers so that you are immediately notified of any of the contents and videos that I'm soon to post. Hence, hit the bell icon as well for instant notification of these posts, of these videos immediately. Till then, as always, be safe, be good, be legal.